What's up, fam? What's up, party people? You know, it's your four squares, the fair, birds of a feather. We're back. Results on Sunday didn't go the way we wanted, but it's onward and upward, man. Let's go.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! You're flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, this is Birds of a Feather on ATD Radio, brought to you by Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Make sure you mention ATD Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and everywhere you download your podcast. So if you're listening to us live right now, or on your commute. We greatly appreciate the support as always. It's your boy Chucks, it's Mr. OG Pete, Jake Friel, and PY here back with you as usual every single week. It's a tough loss, it's a hard week, but we are back here to talk about it and vent about it. And of course, Nate Moss will be joining us a little later on. How you doing, fellas? How you holding up? How's your week going? What's good?
Everything hurts. I'm good. The night of, I was sad. I think me and Pete kind of shared the same sentiment. We were both down, disappointed, and upset the night of. Woke up the next day. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm not gonna dwell on it like some other teams and fan bases in San Francisco, but it is what it is.
We'll be in by 20.
I'm straight, man. I'm good.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, you guys are doing better than I am. Well, we will talk a little bit about the Super Bowl, but I'm sure all of you listening in, tuning in, you've had your several days of venting and letting your frustrations out, mourning whatsoever. We're gonna try a different approach a little bit. We'll talk about it a little bit, but that's not gonna be what we're mainly discussing here on tonight's show. We're gonna look ahead and look in retrospective the season that was. So the first half of the show, we are going to talk about the team's chances to repeat. Can we go back to the Super Bowl 58? How hard is it going to be for this team looking ahead? Now, it's really early. We get that, but what does your gut tell you as of right now, February 16th? What are the chances of the Eagles getting back to the big game? We'll discuss that and a bunch of questions underneath that. And then in the second half of the show, we'll switch gears, take a look back at the 2022 season as a whole, not just for the Eagles, but the NFL. We'll give out some team awards, and we'll talk about the best moments from the 2022 season. But first half of the show, which is brought to us by eXp Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, if you're looking for a change in career or brokerage, contact Alan Foy of eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alan.foy at exprealty.com. Our poll question, or you know what? Let's not get to the poll question. So let's not do that yet. Around the table, I know Pete, OGP, you did your thoughts on Sunday night with some of the other fellows on the station here. So if you want to summarize or just do a quick summary, you can. But Pete, Jake, if you want to talk about it, time's yours, guys.
Real quick, it was fresh Sunday, like Jake said, so I hopped on for a little bit. It was fresh. Now, being several days away, looking at some things, looking at some all 22, and knowing what the scheme was. I mean, I'm truly at peace with it because, like Pro Fan Talk Marcus, Coach Marcus, who's on before this at 7 to 8 every Thursday. Catch him here on A2D Radio. You lost to a Hall of Fame coach and a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yep.
You lost to the best player in the league. Now, the thing is, we don't want to admit it, what Colin Cowherd was saying, what Nick Wright was saying, just because of the messenger, but the message somewhere in there was true. We just weren't prepared. And we had to play our A game. You're talking about a team that has played, that was their third Super Bowl in 4 years. Not even counting all the experience that Andy has had in big games. You needed to be sharp, and you needed to self-scout thyself. And the offense did that to a point, could have been improved. Defense did not self-scout thyself. And then I will honestly sit here and say, even with the adjustments Gannon made as far as going from zone to man, that was the worst game our secondary has played all year. Yep. From a communication standpoint and passing things off, it was an F effort. And it was in the biggest stage of the year. They didn't meet it. They just didn't meet it. Everything else on the offense met it. Defensive line was negated by the field. I don't care what anybody says, that kind of played a part into it. I mean, you didn't hear Chris Jones' names called all night at all. And it just got out. We just got out schemed. It was their offense versus our defense, because there's no doubt in my mind, if that holding penalty is not called, they kick the field goal 38-35, that we're not at least tying the game, if not winning it, because neither defense can stop the other. Neither. Yep. It was a shootout. You lost in the shootout. You didn't. And honestly, we said it, the 3 losses they kind of had during the regular season, they beat themselves. It held true. It held true in the Super Bowl. It's even though we see it, it's a Super Bowl and another game, the same things that we saw on the trends all season rang true and rang its ugly head in the Super Bowl on Sunday, because we beat ourselves. Take the fumble away, take the holder penalty away, take Quez's drop away, self-inflicted. We beat ourselves, which I know which way I'm going with the poll question, because I think a lot of lessons have been learned. So that's all I'll say for now.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of just to piggyback right where Pete left off, I share the same sentiment. We beat ourselves from the All-22, and from things that I've seen, the defense that we saw last Sunday, Spags hasn't shown that all year. There's things that we haven't seen from Spags all year that he put up against us. And that's just, what do you call it? That just goes to the great coach that Spags is. He's been here. He's been doing his thing forever, and he's been doing his thing forever. You have the best quarterback in football. You have the best tight end, arguably, of all time. It's just a lot of things went up against us, but at the same time, like Pete said, we beat ourselves at the end of the day. It hurt initially the night of, but I mean, it is what it is. And also alluding to what Pete said, I think it kind of the good thing is we found out that Jalen Hurts, when the lights are brightest, he can show up and he can play with the best of them. And he outdueled Patrick Mahomes. I don't care what anybody says. Patrick Mahomes might have won the game, but if you look at the numbers and everything else, Jalen Hurts outplayed him.
I'll say this real quick. Not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes, because he's all-time. He's an all-time great. We had the MVP that night.
Yep.
If we don't have Jalen, we're nowhere near in that game. I still think I'm not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes at all, but I just think in that game you saw Jalen Hurts was more important to your team and the success of the team versus Patrick Mahomes, and it's really just because it's the scheme. Fuckers was wide open. I mean, Watt, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, wide open. Travis Kelce, wide open. All right, I'm sorry. I just had to say that.
No, you're good. And yeah, looking back at the All-22, there were so many missed opportunities and so many guys wide open. But again, there's pressure in Jalen's face. He had to get away. It is what it is. But I don't want to say much more without spoiling the answer to the poll question. So that's my 2 cents on the Super Bowl.
PY.
It hurts. It sucks. I hate it. I hate Jonathan Gannon.
Before the game, you said you're not worried about the Chiefs. We're winning by double digits. Those were your exact words.
Well, I mean, we were up in double digits at one point. Well, you know what? See, I blame Chucks, actually. I blame Chucks.
Wow.
Here's why it's his fault.
Infighting already.
No. I'm going to explain why it's Chucks' fault. I'm going to explain.
I've got no energy right now.
I'm going to explain. If you just let me talk. all year. He told me we're too hard on Gannon. You got to believe in Gannon. He's better than what you look. And you know what? I started to believe it. I started to lie to myself that this is a true fact. And you know what? Maybe I should believe a little bit more in Gannon. And you know what? I was wrong. And it's all Chuck's fault. And I hope you're happy.
It's not all Gannon's fault. Players have to play, Pete. Players have to play.
The coaches also have to put the players in the correct positions.
Well, what I would say this though, real quick, is it's kind of what Ryan Swope has been saying a lot. He's making a lot of sense. Is this whole defense, even on the back seven, relied too much on the front four. Even I think Gannon relied too much on the front four to get pressure, and we couldn't. The biggest thing is
Real quick.
Go ahead.
That's been our MO for how many years?
Exactly.
That's nothing new. Like the coverages on the back end might look different than what it was back in 2016 and on, but that has never ever changed. And even probably before the Peterson Schwartz era, that was probably still the case. So go ahead, continue.
No, and then the biggest thing is the Chiefs didn't let us get to our 5-man front. They kept us in the 4-man front because they were so efficient on offense. We couldn't get to the 5-man front, hence why I think Jordan Davis probably had like single-digit snaps because we just couldn't get to it. So when you can't get to it, can't get the pressure. I mean, you seen Hargrave off the snap, 2 feet, he's down on his knees. You know what I mean? Because he's slipping. It was just a master class. It really is something to be said that we just didn't see the competition during the year to be in a dogfight like that, to where you just didn't have. I mean, like, they was literally pulling shit out that they haven't put on film all year. And kudos to our offense because we really didn't change too much up. And Jalen was just on point, but we was still running the same shit. We was running the same stuff we've been running for the last 20 weeks. And we still put up 35 and gave them 7.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like, go back. I said this to y'all. Imagine how bad this would be if we didn't win Super Bowl 52. It would be, I would be.
Oh my God.
There wouldn't be no show tonight. But no, like go ahead.
For Rudy Poo.
Appreciate you.
All 22 showed how bad TJ Edwards was. Draft Drew Sanders or Trent Simpson 30. I'm not having a difference maker at linebacker. Appreciate the super chat, Mr. Rudy Poo. And you are absolutely right. We will get to that when we talk about the poll question. When we talk about TJ Edwards and the state of the future, the state of this linebacker core. It's because I have stuff to talk about there too. So, but go ahead, Pete.
No, I mean it's one of those things to where you just didn't see it. You weren't prepared, and until you're in it, you just don't know. And now you know. I mean, listen, if any other coach other than Andy Reid and other than Tyreek Hill is playing against the 49ers in 2019, the 49ers win that game, and Kyle Shanahan has the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But if people forget, the 49ers were up 10 with 6 minutes to go. This game, all it takes is one play. What did we say? Like, we looked at 2017, 2018, Super Bowl 52. We couldn't stop them. Nothing we could do. One play. That's when you have the best playing against the best, that's what you see and what you saw Sunday.
I think, Pete, what you hit on is something that I wish Gannon was better at. Me and you harped on his philosophy and how it's really not as bad as people are make it out to be. His philosophy of preventing explosives. And I still stick with that philosophy. Like, you want to prevent explosives all you can. And that example, the Niners against the Chiefs in that Super Bowl was a prime example. What I wish that Gannon had better, what I wish he was better at was being able to also realize that in certain moments, in certain situations, that is not what you need. Okay. Yep. Like, I'm good with that philosophy overall.
Right.
But in that instance, when we tied the game over 35, and you look at the clock, and you realize there's probably not much you're going to be able to do to stop Patrick Mahomes and this offense from marching down the field, what becomes a priority? You have to get the ball back. So that's when I wish he had the smarts and situational awareness to be like, okay, this is one of the rare times where if we give up an explosive, that's not really a bad thing. And hey,
because you get the ball back.
Best case scenario, if you blitz the house and you get to him, you get the ball back without giving up points. So that's where I don't mind having a certain philosophy, and I love that he's someone that doesn't want to give up the explosive play. But I wish that as a defensive coordinator, you have to have the wherewithal to be able to know that, hey, this is my overall philosophy right now. That's not the correct way to approach this scenario, this moment in the game. And it applies to just coaching in general, because we see smart coaches like Doug Peterson and Nick Sirianni, who are excellent in-game management, change up their normal philosophy and approach to certain games when they feel that the time calls for it. And that's what makes them so good at in-game management. So that is on Gannon. That absolutely is on Gannon. Now, I agree with you, Pete, that 90% of the fan base wants to put this loss solely on Gannon. And while I'm okay with blaming him, I think that we're overlooking the fact that players have to execute,
make plays.
Well.
Yep.
And Andy and Bieniemy 2 weeks to prepare for our weaknesses. You see what I'm saying? Like I agree with you 100%. What the thing with Gannon is, you never felt like he understood the sense of urgency. You never felt like he understood the momentum swings. That's the biggest thing. Like the way he was just so passive, but at the same time, it's like he can do it. He can call everything right, but it also, like, fam, this is the biggest thing I would say about Gannon is he never corrected. We seen it. I'm pretty sure, fam, y'all out there seen it. Jaguars, what they did with pre-snap motion. You go back, look at Christmas Eve when CD went off. It was pre-snap motion. Pre-snap motion has killed this offense, killed this defense all year. All year. And I get somewhere you can't just magically fix it. There was no magical answer for it because you've been doing it for the last 20 weeks, right? But at some point, do something. Send Edwards. You know what I mean? Because you just needed something to happen. You needed something to happen because I never felt like, honestly, I didn't feel like Andy was going to make the same mistake that Belichick did or Josh McDaniel did in 2018. I never felt like that. And also from that standpoint, we also at that point, I think that we had the lead at that point, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So it was a little different, right? So it's a little different because I think we were winning 38-33. So this was never that situation. It was that situation, and he never took advantage of it. You know what I mean? At that point, you just go down, you tie the game up. It's 35-35. All the momentum's back with you, and it's 5 minutes left. You just can't let him march down the field because, like you said, at that point, you're not only playing against Mahomes and Andy, you're playing against the clock because now you saw what happened. Like Jalen Hurts left the field at a tie game, and he never had and the offense never had a chance to try to get that back. So, but once again, it sucks. It stings. He's gone. Lessons learned. I'm ready to move forward. I'm looking forward to 2023, 2024. Just because once again, it's different. It's from a different aspect because I think it's so clear and evident why we lost this game. And I don't think how the season played out. I don't think that there's anything. This team rang true to itself. They never lost. They played that game Sunday to their identity. It would have had. Now there's other extenuating circumstances, the field and shit like that, the fumble, all that. But you got out coached. I think Sirianni answered the bell. Gannon wasn't winning. I want to say the lights was too bright for Gannon. He went up against Spags, and Spags is a big game DC. Like you're talking about the DC who stopped the undefeated season, who stopped the great Patriots when they were the great Patriots twice.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like you knew that this dude was going to take chances. Now I can only say with Sirianni, maybe somewhere you could have had some checks. Like we may see something that we never seen before, but at the same time, you put up the most points in a losing effort in the Super Bowl history. Like some people calling it like if that hold doesn't happen and Jalen gets the ball back and however it ends, if it ends different, we win. But if he has an actual opportunity with 90 seconds left, people are calling it the greatest Super Bowl of all time. You know what I mean? It had everything in it. Big plays, long drives, crazy shit happened. You know what I mean? Outside of the one hit on Gardner Johnson on Pacheco, tell me the next best tackle.
Yeah, right.
Defense.
Yeah.
Would you guys have gone for it on 4th and 3?
I would have personally because
I was actually shocked he didn't.
Yeah.
Right. I think if that's Doug, he goes for it. Because I think
100%.
Doug just had a wherewithal, and even with Frank Reich, like, yo, the momentum is all with them. We can't get them this ball back.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
I felt like at that point we lost because you kind of surrendered the momentum solely to them, and you instead of becoming the aggressor and becoming proactive, you became reactive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You became reactive to what
we were no longer
happened.
in control. We were no longer in control.
No. Nope.
Yeah. So it sucks. There's not much left to say.
Yep.
Yeah, but let's get to the poll question now. Then, let's bring this up because there's a lot of stuff this poll question can encompass, and I want to get into everything. I want to get into the whole. I try, I want to get into the whole discussion about it. So, our poll question is: the Eagles will make it back to the Super Bowl next season. Agree or disagree? If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna pitch in my answer real quick. We talked about the defense. We mentioned the defense, and that we pretty much all agree that was the main reason why the Eagles lost in the Super Bowl. Why were we in it? And Pete, you talked about it. Oh, look, good timing, Mr. Nate Money, just in time for the poll question.
Yo,
what's
actually
good?
on time.
Oh, I was singing and I didn't even know I was online. What's goody?
Pete, you mentioned it. The only reason why we're in that game was Jalen Hurts. I think that the reason why this, no pun intended, hurts so much, this loss hurts so much, is because Jalen played an absolutely phenomenal game, and we did not come out on top. And it feels like a historic performance gone to waste. And that's what hurts a lot about it. Now, that is the bright spot going forward. Going forward from this year, and I think Rich Eisen on his show the day after had a really good segment about it, about Jalen Hurts and about this team moving forward. And overall, his message to us was, hey, you're good. You're good because of Jalen Hurts. To the poll question, the Eagles will make it back to the Super Bowl next season. Logically, my head says disagree. But my heart, because of this guy, I'm going to say agree to the poll. Because I'm not going to doubt him. We talk about, like, you can't bet against Mahomes. Before you couldn't bet against Tom Brady, and when when Peyton Manning was in his prime, you couldn't bet against Peyton Manning. I think Jalen Hurts is entering that conversation where you can't bet against him because he just keeps proving people wrong. So even though logically I know that there are a lot of factors and there's a lot of regression to the mean that this team is going to encounter next season, I'm just going to believe. I'm not going to doubt anymore. So because of Jalen Hurts, I'm going to stay faithful. I'm agree to the poll that we will make it back next season. And maybe next year, this time, I'll look like an idiot and look foolish for saying that. Maybe we missed the playoffs or something. But I have too much faith now in what I've seen from Hurts and what I've seen from what this offense can do overall. That you know what, I'm just gonna blindly have faith. Be a homer, say whatever you want, but I'm gonna agree, and I'm gonna say we make it back.
Nate, you want to get first and foremost, Nate, your thoughts on the game? Any thoughts, and then take it with the poll question.
Thoughts.
How you feeling, brother?
I feel like I have PTSD from talking so much goddamn. Like I'm over it. I'm really am. I'm so fucking over it. I'm so over it. Let's just move on. Like we can dissect it, and we're not at Broad Street today.
No.
Period.
The parade was supposed to be today. Yeah,
I'm over it. Like I'm over. We're not here. So I mean, shoulda, coulda, wouldas don't mean shit.
Exactly.
If you see the other team fucking getting drunk and shit, talking about Saturday Night Live and all this other shit. Man,
handing the Lombardi Trophy to fans.
Yeah, I'm done, man. I'm cool. I have no. I'm tapped out. Okay. I feel like it's the trigger. I think I said this on Twitter. It's like a trigger now. Like every time I see it, it's like, oh my god, here we go again. There we go. And no knock to anybody who does suffer from PTSD. You know, that's a serious thing, right? I want to say Pete OG hit me with the was it Dr. Lydell or something like that? I forget who it is that we do from the mental. Doctor. I forget who I was. I think Dr. Lydell is from like a movie, so my bad. But nah, like I'm just to the poll question. Of course, I'm gonna agree. I want the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl every year. So I'm going to agree to the poll. I think they have a legit roster in the NFC. I don't really see anybody rivaling them as of yet. Nobody jumps out. Like the Niners need a quarterback. Rodgers is looking like he's going to the AFC. You know, we already know what Dallas is. Dak.
I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it.
Dak is whack.
This is what's the meme with Kermit?
Oh, yes.
Minding my own business.
Let me just sip my tea on fucking. Right. So I'm trying to like who else? I mean, the Rams might come back a little bit. They had that kind of Super Bowl slump year, but I mean, we're talking about there's rumors that Ramsey might be gone.
And Stafford may retire.
We don't know about Stafford. Yeah,
Stafford might retire. I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, his neck is really fucked up.
Neck is fucked up.
Oh wow. Yeah. So like when you think about it, I look at the quarterbacks. Right, I look at the quarterbacks in the NFC, and I look at the quarterbacks in the AFC. And if you look at the quarterbacks in the NFC, where do you have Jalen?
He's number one. You literally read my mind. He's the best quarterback in the NFC.
NFC, yeah.
Yeah, so when you have the best quarterback in your conference, you have to feel good that you got a shot every single damn year. So for that reason, I agree to the poll. And please don't ask me any more old Super Bowl questions.
Yeah, we're done. I think we're done with the poll. I'll pick up where you left off. I agree to the poll. And I kind of just from this preface of saying, all right, right now on paper, if teams have to fill the same 53, or who's in a better position to kind of field a team that's as close to what they had the production of this year, it's us, hands down by a landslide. I don't think Kirk Cousins is getting magically better. I don't see what answers the Vikings can have on defense. The Giants maybe. I actually think the Giants is going to finish with a better record than Dallas next year, just because I think the Giants are going to find a wide receiver. And I think that's the one thing that they're away from. A couple other pieces on defense, but when I look at the NFC as a whole, it's ours to lose. It's ours to lose.
Yep.
So, I agree to the poll. And I think we have the best. I really think we have the best GM in the league. I never thought I would say that. Never thought I would say that. But I definitely had the best GM in the NFC. And you gave this man some more cap space, some tough decisions that have to be made in the offseason. But you got Cam Jordan here. I think back. I don't know why I'm back. Am I good now? No.
I don't.
Oh God. Anyways, go ahead. Jake.
Basically, picking up off of what Pete and Nate already said. I mean, there's no better quarterback in the NFC right now. Rodgers is in the dark for a couple of days, and he'll figure out what he's doing after that. Yeah, I just see it as the Eagles are still the team to beat in the NFC, and I really do see them making it back. So I agree with the poll, and from everything I'm hearing and everything I'm seeing, the body of Jalen Hurts' new contract is basically together. It's just about negotiating money now, which apparently will come in the coming weeks. So if all that's being said and done, the contract really won't go into effect until the following year. So Howie has money to still bring in guys on the defense, because that's what we really need at the end of the day. We just need defense and a wide receiver 3 and a running back, but who's counting? But
would you give him a Mahomes type deal?
Yes,
I would. Just because you look at Mahomes' deal now and you look at how much of a bargain it is, quote unquote.
Well,
but I think going into next year, I think he's the 7th highest paid player in the league. I think.
Yeah, I mean, well, he won the Super Bowl, so the deal's already done. It's already paid.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he got him another one on the deal. So
yeah, and the cap keeps going up every year. So I mean, why not? That's what I would do anyway.
Yeah, I think I would too, and just give him more guaranteed money. Just give him the most guaranteed money ever.
And then you can restructure it however long you need to, and add incentives here and there, or just give a bonus here and there. As long as we have Howie, the last thing I'm worried about is the cap. The last thing I'm worried about.
And people forget they gave what was that? Donovan had what, an 8-year, 9-year deal?
I think his was similar to Mahomes, at least.
Was it longer? Was Donovan's longer? Donovan's was a long deal. That deal they gave Donovan.
That's what Andy does, though. Let's see. Donovan McNabb contract.
I like it because if you sign into a 10-year deal, I don't know why I'm still he's 34.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't hear the echo on my end.
I do.
I hear it to me.
I hear it.
Yeah, oh, you're good now.
Well, y'all need to fix y'all shit.
Even when I was muted, though, and Jake started talking, I was hearing the echo at the same time. So I don't know what.
Yeah,
I don't know. But PY, go ahead. Answer the poll question.
It's not just a yes. It's an oh, hell yeah. We're going back. Like, I'm sorry. Jalen Hurts is a top 3 quarterback. You have all these guys. You have A.J. Brown locked up. Devontae Smith is good for at least 3 more years. And you have Dallas Goedert. You have one of the best O-lines in football. You have a solid defense. Obviously, you need to go out and re-sign some guys. But you're going to have, most likely, a new offensive coordinator that better fits Jalen's skill set in Brian Johnson. Fuck. Not to mention the fact that you're probably going to get a new DC who might be a little bit more aggressive, that better fits the defensive plans they have moving forward. And honestly, with Jalen Hurts, I believe him. Like, as long as we have that guy, you're in Super Bowl contention every year.
Yeah. We'll get to some of the poll questions, or the comments, not poll questions. I'm sorry. I'm out of it, guys. It's been a rough week.
It's all the echoes.
Chat, some comments in the chat. Mr. Rudy. No,
you're good.
Everybody else is.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. Cool, but Gannon's defense just never felt like a Philly type defense. Not enough force from the back 7 behind CJ. Sean Gunn 41 says, "Hey, this is Jonathan Gannon. I'm using a burner account. I want to apologize to the Philly fans for throwing the game, but they gave me the bag to do it." Okay.
The NFL script was a bitch.
What are you talking about? Will Cordero says, everyone so caught up in re-signing the guys who help us be successful this year. The NFL is year to year. It's always different, hence why even the Bucs brought back all 22, they still fell short. The team is supposed to evolve, and it will. We have Harry Roseman and great draft picks and number 1 behind center. We are in good hands. No matter what we do, we are prepared for this moment. That's an excellent comment.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go back to this comment in a bit, because that's an absolute excellent comment. Martian Lynch said, "I'd rather rehire Mike Zimmer, Lovie Smith, or Rex Ryan." Rex Ryan.
You had me until you said Rex Ryan.
Rex Ryan. Lovie Smith. This is what I'll say about Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith, good name. And then when Eagles fans actually realize what I'm echoing now too. When they actually realize the defensive scheme that he runs, they're gonna hate him. So I'm out on Lovie Smith. Mr. Rudy Poo also says, "I'm ready for linebackers who can actually collect tackles for losses. We suck at that level." Hey, paging Nakobe Dean. Yeah, Nakobe Dean.
Question.
Yeah.
I'm not a big defensive guy, so I'll leave it to you. Like, what about like Lovie Smith's defense would people hate here?
He doesn't go out of his scheme. He runs cover two.
It's all Tampa 2.
It's all Tampa 2, and he doesn't change regardless. He sticks to Tampa 2. Like he is to his Tampa 2 as Jim Schwartz was to his cover 3. All right,
yeah.
but Lovie Smith isn't aggressive. Like he's less reluctant to blitz than Jim Schwartz is. But just in talking about the staying in the scheme, yeah, Lovie Smith will just run. He runs Tampa 2, and that's it. He doesn't change.
Would you suggest, because obviously I'm more of an offensive guy when it comes to football, so like I leave the defensive talk to other people, but like I'm not going to say here and be like, oh, we need to go get aggressive because that's the Philadelphia signature. But like, would you go out and get a more aggressive theme defensive coordinator, or would you have someone similar to Gannon?
I don't think, for me personally, and you guys, if you want to answer, you can. I don't think it comes down to that. I think that's something that is secondary to me when it comes to priority. I think I need someone who's obviously a good teacher who can teach his philosophies. Because that's something that Gannon was good at doing. Whether you believe in his team or not, he taught it very well. But I need someone who is a good teacher. But I need someone who just, and we talked about it. What are you going to do in the big moments against the big game, the big quarterbacks? All right, in the biggest games, biggest moments, you need to show an ability to change up and to go to a different type of level, to think outside the box in order to stop these QBs like Mahomes, like Allen, like Trevor Lawrence. Like it's going to come up, like Justin Herbert, like Joe Burrow. Like these quarterbacks, they're going to know what you throw at them. You have to be able to change it, and you have to be able to confuse them just enough. So that is the number one priority to me. Everything else is secondary. I personally don't care what scheme they bring in, because I feel like we have the roster and the GM to adjust our defense to that scheme. I care more so about, hey, what are you going to do in the big game now? Because we have talent, right? Like, and we've seen that both. There's no perfect. This is the thing, guys. There's no perfect defensive scheme in the league. There is not. And Nate, I think you can attest to that too, being a former defensive player. There is no one defense that's going to stop every single offense. Like, that doesn't exist. If it existed, then every team would run that defensive scheme. It's all about being able to tweak it and know when to use certain things to be able to stop your matchup. Because defense is it's not a dictating type of thing like the offense is. Offense is you run your shit and you run it. Defense, you are reacting a lot of the times. So you have to be able to react in a way that is going to be outside the box and be able to stop the best QBs in the league. Because Nate, just like you say, Nate, it all comes down to QB. And if you can't stop that QB, you're dead in the water. And that's what Jonathan Gannon felt victim to. So, PY, to answer your question, I honestly don't care about whether they blitz 80% of the time like Wink Martindale or they sit back. I need to be able to have a coordinator that knows the time and the place and the way to be able to stop these big quarterbacks in the biggest games. If that makes sense.
No, it does. Would you think Vance Joseph would be a good fit? Because I know everyone's talking about him right now.
I wouldn't mind Vance Joseph at all. I wouldn't mind that. You got to ask yourself, how is he going to use Hassan Reddick? Because remember, like Hassan left when Vance was there. Now he had a 12 sack season under Vance, but how is he going to use them? So that's a question. But I wouldn't be opposed to Vance.
Yeah, if you're looking for more like an aggressive kind of defensive coordinator like everyone wants, Vance is your guy. Just because there was something I was looking at, just because they said the Eagles are going to request an interview. Well, not even request now because he's a free agent, but they're going to interview Vance. But I was looking at his defensive numbers from this past season. I think he was ranked number 2 or 3 in the NFL in blitz percentage. So if you want an aggressive guy,
he's aggressive.
Vance is going to be your guy. So
yeah,
and that's the thing, Jake. I feel like the fans want to see just people being active on defense, and that's not necessarily always the best recipe for success. Vance is cool. I mean, I like what I've heard out of Dardar Wilson. From what I've heard, is it's going to be like they're going to be very thorough with their search. Like they're looking for something. They're looking for that next Robert Saleh. They're looking for that next D'Amico Ryans, someone like that. I would like Lovely because then at that point I know we'll get a stud middle linebacker because his system needs a middle linebacker.
That's the other thing. if you bring in Lovey, there is no way you can go into the season without a middle linebacker can cover. There's no way. You have to. It has to be like mandated. Priority number 1 in terms of acquisitions. You have to get a covered linebacker, and TJ Edwards ain't it.
No.
He certainly isn't it. So absolutely. I don't know if any of you guys want to follow up in terms of DCs that you're looking at, because like that's part of the conversation here I want to get into. Like what do you want in a DC moving forward? Because their search is going on right now.
No wide 9.
No wide 9. Okay.
No.
I want flexibility, man. This you have to be. Yeah. You have to move like it's crazy when talk about like a kung fu analogy or martial arts. Like you just have to move like water. You have to be able to bend and not get so stuck. I mean, you got to have your core philosophies, right? You got to have that foundation of what you believe in. You got to have that, but within that, there has to be some flexibility to sometimes maybe to get outside the scope of that. You know what I mean? Now, if you have your system, that's what made the Seattle Legion of Boom so good. They had a system at its core, it worked, and they just had studs everywhere on the field. If you can find that, by all means, it doesn't matter. You know, but obviously we here in Philly, we don't have that right now. You know what I mean? Because there is holes, you know. So I don't know. I mean, I thought about Chris Richard, but I'm not sure about him. The one I wouldn't mind. He was at Jackson State. He was being an advisor to Deion. I'm talking about Mike. I would take a look at Mike Zimmer.
That'd be very interesting if it's Zimmer. Yeah,
it would be interesting.
Zimmer's not the thing is Zimmer's a 4-3 guy.
He is. He is a 4-3, and his emphasis is on DBs too. So you definitely would get better. And he coaches up DBs a lot.
But the problem is we don't have the personnel. Our personnel is built for 3-4. It's not built for.
Yeah.
Well, so Nate, do you think? I don't know if you answered this before, but do you think that because we've seen Josh Sweat, he plays mostly his game is hand in the dirt. Like, what do you think about Reddick in a 4-3? Can he play with his hand in the dirt? Or do you move him to outside linebacker?
No, he played. I'm almost positive played in the hand in the dirt in Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They run.
Yeah. If we run a 4-3, just hypothetically speaking, like it would.
Problem is
Davis. Okay, that was going to be Your
problem is you don't have the D tackles to run a 4-3 because they're all one. Hargraves is you would if you're going to run a 4-3, you would have to re-sign Hargraves. Would have to, and you would have to pay him the money, which you don't want to.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I talked about this before. Love Fletch, greatest defensive tackle ever to probably put on Eagles green. Love Fletch, but would you pay a defensive tackle $100 million? You know what I mean? Because that's what Hargraves is going to be. He's going to be 4
Yeah,
or 5 years.
he's gonna be more expensive than Fletch.
Yeah, he's going to. That's what he's going to be. So you need an attacking, like Fletch was. You need an attacking defensive tackle in a 4-3. You'll have your guy who kind of is the bigger guy in the middle, and then you'll have that other side. Aaron Donald lives on this. You never see Aaron Donald on the center. He's always on the end or the outside shade of the guard, whether it be the weak or the strong side. So your first pick would probably be a defensive tackle at that point.
Yep.
You think about it. You would draft and you would probably re-sign Hargraves, and you would make a decision about Hargraves versus maybe, somebody else, that would get it. Like,
Or that would really push Milton Williams into the limelight, right? Because
Williams, it works for Williams, right?
Yeah,
it would work for Williams. Williams is a tweener; he can play either or, and he's coming along really well. So for Williams, it would definitely work. But your number one, Davis, it would be tough because he has to develop those pass rushes. We already talked about that. Those pass rush moves. He's just not there yet. He's literally a run stuffer. That's what he is. So it'd be tough, and it'd be a year of pain probably too. Like, people talk so much shit about Gannon, but we just came off a historical defensive run. So you have to think that can't be replicated, especially with some of the guys that are going to be walking out the door.
There's going to be regression to the mean, and like I said,
a lot of regression there for sure.
And you have an offense that can win the Super Bowl. Nate, how much does that go into it? Like, when you have an offense that can win the Super Bowl, you can't waste these years. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, like, to take a risk on somebody that's brand new, like you said, a regression. That's very risky. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, but it's part of the process, right? It's part of the process that you have to do. When you go to the Super Bowl, you're going to lose dogs. You're going to lose players. You're going to lose coaches. That's just part of the game, and that's the name of the game. It's just unfortunate that we're going to lose. Like, everybody had a career year, right? Like, it was just weird. Like, everybody had a career year. Everybody on the defensive line had a career year. Everybody in the secondary had a career year. Fucking line. Like, everybody had a career year this year on that defensive side of the ball. So when you think about that, try to replace that. I mean, they got some people behind them, like you said, Milton Williams. We're going to see what Dean is about next year. We're going to see what if Epps leaves, if Blankenship is going to be back there more than likely, right? So we're going to see how and test our depth, and we just got to replenish that, and hopefully we hit on some of our draft picks. But
it's not even just.
Go ahead, PY.
Swoop, it's not even just like Howie Roseman in terms of linebackers. It's just the Eagles as an organization. Like, they don't put high emphasis into linebackers. They put high emphasis into the trenches, O-line and D-line.
Yeah, and I think that's an Andy Reid stowaway. Like, that's what Andy Reid did for years, and it stuck and it works, right?
It does, but it's funny, Nate, that you say that, right, about the linebackers with Andy.
Right.
Nick Bolton is the reason why they won the Super Bowl. He was a fucking monster Sunday.
No, he was.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
But Nick Bolton also was someone they took in the second round. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Andy always somehow lucks into like a linebacker. Remember with Trotter?
I don't think he lucks into it. He can see talent. He just knows talent.
Yeah.
I think
how many people passed on Mahomes?
Yeah.
11.
9. I thought he was drafted at 10.
12.
I think. And they traded out.
From 27 to 12.
I think you have to also consider when it comes to drafting, it's not that they don't prioritize. It's not that they don't think they're important. I think they know the value and the positional value when it comes to the draft and compared to other positions, and being able to grab one later on that you can get. Like we all talk about running backs. And you guys know I'm the running back guy. I would not touch a running back in the top part of the first round, like almost ever. But if you have a generational talent potentially, like we're seeing with Bijan. Like if they're there in the late part of the first round, then sure.
Definitely.
But like you
Yeah, I
never
agree.
do it. Never do it in the early part of the first round. That doesn't mean that I don't value running backs though. It's like
Right.
you know the trends of the teams, and if you know you can grab one, especially if you have your eye on one, if you know you can grab one later on, you're still valuing the position, but you're taking into account what the positional value is when it comes to the draft. That's the key important thing, and like I think that the Eagles, they're always going to value the offensive line, the trenches, like you said, PY. But I think that if they know they have a need at linebacker, they're going to make sure they find one that they can get to fill that at some point in the draft. So I think you know what I mean. It's not. I get what you're saying, and you're right. But I think that we have to also alter how we look at it, and also have to alter like, hey, it doesn't mean that they don't hate the position and are going to totally neglect it. I think that they're always going to keep that positional value, and it's different sometimes with every team. Like every team, like there are some teams that value other positions more than the Eagles do the trenches, and that's their philosophy. I mean, look at the Steelers. The Steelers draft a wide receiver on day 2 or day 3 almost every year because they know they can find a freaking star. Like they know, like the
generational wide receiver.
It's gonna be like a stud. So like they don't pick one in the first round because they know they can get one on day 2. Does that make sense? Like they value that position because they know they can draft one later on because they have the eye for talent.
Right. It's crazy. I'm sitting here looking at the chat. Fam, thanks for rocking with us and keeping it going. I didn't know Steve Wilkes was hired. That's another one going. Another possible DC. He went to San Francisco. He replaced D'Amico Ryans. That's the most talent he's ever had on defense. So watch out there. Yeah. But Rudy Poo hit the nail on the head for the one I want. And my boy keeps telling me he's a Pats fan. He says he's not available. I really want Gerard Mayo. Bad.
Yeah.
It's not the first time I've heard that name this week.
They said they said New England won't let him go. But I mean, if you offer it to him, he's a positional coach now, so it's not a lateral move. So they can only block lateral moves. But they keep holding on to him in the organization. They're grooming him for something. But see, that's another thing too. It's like you pick up Mayo, right? That's somebody who then starts to shine. He's getting a head coaching job. So how do you guys feel about this? Do you feel like you will want? Do you want a DC that's going to be stable, like Spags, right? Like Andy hit it out the ballpark when he got Spags, because Spags is already a head coach, already has Super Bowl rings. He probably doesn't have any aspirations to be another head coach again. You know what I mean? Like, I want somebody like that to where you're here. You know what I mean? Like you and Sirianni, you know what I mean? You're here. So it's like, wow, like Denard Wilson. If we end up going with Denard Wilson, right? That's why I would say maybe if Vance Joseph kind of learned the lesson a little bit because he was already there. He was a head coach already. You know what I mean? So not to say that if he's offered another job, he wouldn't take it, but he's already had a taste of that. You know what I mean? Money talks ultimately at the end. I don't know. I just every time we get to the Super Bowl the last 5 years, we lost coaches. If I'm not mistaken, didn't we lose coaches in 2004 too? Was that when Childress went to Minnesota? Or was that?
Don't remember.
If I'm not mistaken, I could have sworn we lost coaches from that staff too right after that Super Bowl. I'm not saying you can't get back. I think the head coach is strong enough, but it's just I don't like we talk about Bieniemy. Bieniemy is a free agent right now. I mean, I think he's interviewing for the Commanders OC job next. Did he interview today or is he interviewing tomorrow?
He's been interviewing.
Okay.
I like what Jake was talking to us about the chat about, to where like I'd be really interested in bringing him in here, making him an assistant head coach, making him the play caller, just because he is a creative guy, and I'd love to see what he could do without Andy.
Yeah. But everything's kind of pointing towards Brian Johnson's going to be the OC. That's the only thing with that.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I heard. Joe Marshall Lynch. He says BM is a player. They're like, we all heard. I mean, Shady's not the best messenger, but he kind of heard like Bieniemy talks to his players sideways, And Andy is that perfect
Oh.
buffer who can be that translator. You know what I mean? There's something about the enemy that just you got to do now that has 2 rings.
And he's got a checkered past. They I forget who mentioned it. I think it was who do I follow on Twitter? Brian Kelly? No, something Kelly. I follow on Twitter. He had brought up that like the league is probably a little bit hesitant because of his checkered past. He has some
The Colorado thing.
The Colorado thing. And there's more that he mentioned. It wasn't
Colorado
just that.
thing.
He had was it a assault? A sexual? Was it sexual assault?
I forget it was. I
In
can try
Colorado.
I can try to look, but he has some red flags off the field.
Yes. Okay.
That,
Got it.
That the league is probably. That's why they're second guessing on him, and so
Okay.
whether it's fair, I'm not saying it's fair. I'm just putting it out there what someone had mentioned. So like, if you're wondering why, it could be a reason why is because if they bring him in, they're also bringing that part of him too. So they're trying to make sure that hey, is he worth it? So, I'm wondering the same thing. That's why I mentioned that is because maybe that has to do with it. Maybe that's the part of it. So. Talk about the coordinators. I mean, Ryan Swope does say they need to look at drafting linebackers early. Same safeties. Stop going for linemen all the time and skilled positions later. I think that when it comes to linemen, I think we need to recognize. I've been saying this. I trust them when it comes to offensive linemen. If they want to draft one in the second round, so be it. Because you can't complain about drafting offensive line early and then celebrate the Eagles having the best damn offensive line in the league this year.
Right.
There's a reason why. And I remember 2 years ago when people complained about the Dickerson pick. Are you complaining now?
Chef's kiss, baby, all day.
My God. I will never – I trust them when it comes to drafting offensive linemen. So if they want to draft one whatever, I'm fine.
See,
I'm not saying
I hate to sound like –
I'm not saying they're perfect. I'm saying that overall, they have a philosophy, and if they want to stick to that philosophy, so be it. I don't expect every single prospect to be a hit because that's that's never going to happen.
Oh, there's a big one that's not a hit right now.
So I just think that
it's not a miss either.
Offensive line is fine. Drafting offensive line. Now, you talk about linebackers. I want to talk about safeties too. All right, so we talk about linebackers first. All right, let's get to it. We kind of touched on it earlier. You need a middle linebacker. TJ Edwards, I think we do need to re-sign, but we need a coverage linebacker next to him. And you can say Dean, but I don't think Dean is a coverage linebacker.
He's not.
Can he do it? Possibly, but that's not his game. His game was a downhill attacking linebacker. If you're talking about a coordinator, if you get a coordinator that likes to blitz his linebackers a lot, if I remember correctly, I think Zimmer likes to do that because when Zimmer had Kendricks blitz a lot, right?
Kendricks and Anthony Barr.
Yeah. So they would blitz a lot. So maybe Zimmer, that's the type of prospect, those kind of linebacker Zimmer would really like, right? But if you need a coverage linebacker, Dean, that's not someone you can hang your hat on right now, right this second. That's not his strong suit. So you need a coverage linebacker. You need someone that's why D'Amico Ryans in San Fran was able to do so much stuff. And that defense, despite them not having a lot of stars outside of Hufanga, Warner, and Bosa, the defense worked because of everything that Warner could do in coverage. Now, do I expect us to get a Warner? No, I don't think you're not going to get a Fred Warner, but we need someone that can do that for this defense. And then when it comes to safeties, Epps was solid, but man, I think we all agree you got to re-sign Chauncey, and I need someone else opposite him. I need someone else who can interchange with him, someone who can play in the box but also play deep half or play deep center field on some reps. I need someone opposite that. I'm tired of them neglecting the safety position. And I'm saying that in comparison to linebacker in terms of I don't care if you don't draft one in the first round, but you got to get one at some point. You got to draft one at some point. So it's like Kayvon, you drafted one at Kayvon a few years ago in the 4th round. I was fine with the pick, but he hasn't panned out. You have to draft. I need them to draft someone at some point who has that potential of being a starter. I've been begging for it. Hasn't happened, but hey, like you need one, or get another one in free agency on a 1-year deal. But I need a safety. I need a safety.
Yeah, I'm more interested in looking at safeties than I am linebackers. And this isn't just like a Howie thing. This is an Eagles thing. They have not drafted. This is my favorite stat. They have not drafted a linebacker in the first round since 1979. You can like it, you can dislike it. You know, this is just their philosophy. And I get the Kyle Hamilton thing. I do. I wanted him really bad, but Davis fits their MO. Like, would I have drafted Kyle Hamilton? Yeah. But Davis just fits what they're doing more.
I know Nate likes the Jordan Davis pick. No, I like the Jordan Davis pick too. I'm perfectly fine with Jordan Davis. Like, you know, I liked Kyle Hamilton a lot too. Like, I'm with you, PY. But man, like
he looked a little sketch this year.
Jordan Davis, I love that pick. So I'm not ready to give up on that pick and anytime soon.
Yeah, I thought he was solid.
Yeah, I don't think you should. I mean, look at what we're losing from a defensive tackle standpoint, right? We're losing literally all of them, right? Like which ones are here? Davis, Williams, and who else?
That's it.
That's it.
Marvin Wilson.
That's it. Because Fletch is going to take the money if he goes. I don't think he's coming back, right? Sue, maybe. I don't know where his head is at. You know, does he think that he's ready for that grind because they came in late, right? Joseph is more likely not going to get re-signed. I mean, there's a strong possibility that your 10th pick in the draft is a defensive tackle. Very strong possibility.
Yeah.
So, we just don't have any, you know. So. And then I don't think they're going to pay Hargraves $20 million a year.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Do you think he's worth that?
No.
That's a tough question.
At his age. Yeah.
Tough question because he showed he can be a double-digit guy. That guy from side, and that's just the cost of pass rushers. It's just what it is. It's just the cost of what a premier pass rusher, whether it be from the outside or the inside. That's just the cost. So, I wouldn't. I don't think there's very few defensive tackles who are worth $100 million. In my opinion, and I'm not sure if he checks that box.
Yes to more Alabama players, Don, all day, every day.
I love Brian Branch. I really do.
Yeah.
I love Brian Branch.
All right. So, Jake, I know that one of the exercises you wanted to do was a stay or go.
Let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, while you pull it up,
Jonathan Gannon, go.
Tom Arnone, Mr. Head Honcho, says, hard to answer this poll right now. I'll let you know in August.
Oh, come on, Tom.
And he also says, I ain't giving Hargrave that money. I wouldn't either. Like, I wouldn't. He's been great, but like at his age, moving forward, giving him that type of money, no, I wouldn't. Like,
miss me with that.
I wouldn't.
I'm good.
Mr. Wing says, did you see Ruben Frank's number regarding the D line in the Super Bowl? They basically abandoned rotations, had Cox and Hargrave play the whole game. Yeah,
Can somebody explain to me, like, why just abandon what had been working all year round?
Hey, but let's just be honest, man, because I don't want to talk about it. But let's just be honest.
I'm with Nate. I don't want to
talk about it, but let's just be. They were up 20. They were up by 10 at half. Right? They were up by 10 by half, and 7 points was off a fucking fluke fumble.
Yep.
He's not a moron, Tom, because he was kicking their ass first half. He was. He was digging their ass. If you would have told me Patrick Mahomes would have under 200 yards, if Travis Kelce would have under 80 yards or 81 yards, what more do you want? What more do you want from Gannon?
I mean, in reality, when you look at it too, and I'm not defending Gannon at all, but if you look at it, the Hurts fumble, that's what do you call it? That's the Chiefs defense, and then the other touchdown with Kadarius Toney's return. That's special teams. That's just
special teams. Yeah.
So 14 points right there. I mean,
I will just reiterate because Nate wasn't on. Nate wasn't on. What I give credit to the defense in the first half. What I wish was that on that last drive, you have to change it up. That's all I'm saying. You have to be more aggressive because the most important thing is getting the ball back. You haven't been able to stop this offense. I wish he would have changed it up, been more aggressive, blitzed more, so that even if he gives up a huge explosive play, you get the ball back. Huh?
How do you defend the play? Everybody's smart, right?
No. I'm not talking about the red zone play. I'm talking about when they first got the ball, right? When you kick off the ball. And it's Chiefs ball, 25-yard line. They're on 25. They begin that possession. Immediately when I'm watching it and I see the clock, I'm like, there's not a lot of time left in the clock. So the number one priority, because you have a feeling they haven't been able to stop them all second half, right? If they score here, you need to get the ball back. You need time on the clock. So what am I doing as a defensive coordinator? I am being aggressive just in that possession. I know Gannon has his philosophy, but in that possession, I am blitzing, I am being aggressive and attacking because in that case, worst case scenario is what? They score off an explosive play, right? They score quickly, right? They score quickly, you get the ball back. Best case scenario, you're able to blitz, get home on Mahomes, and you get a stop. But having to die again on another drive by 1,000 paper cuts and preventing an explosive play in that scenario isn't what you needed on that possession. All right, overall, I've defended Gannon, and I liked his philosophy of preventing explosive plays. I liked it. I'm with it, and I'm one of the rare people that have defended him that way. But just for that one possession, that's not what you needed to do. You needed to get the ball back. You need the ball back.
I'm not trying to defend Gannon. Really. I'm not. But what I'm saying is you want to blitz a great quarterback behind an offensive guru Hall of Famer. Good players make plays. Period. They just do. And that's what they did. I mean, it's really that simple. And I'm not saying he's average, Tom, because 70 sacks is not average. It's third best overall. The numbers and the statistics say with Bradbury and Slay is phenomenal. So
this is where I have a problem. Is he says, I love how guys protect this round. He's not an elite coordinator. I've never said he's an elite coordinator. That's never like Pete. Have you ever said he's an elite coordinator?
No, I mean Tom hears what he wants to hear, man.
Yeah, it's if we can
do not let Tom come on. Somebody block his ass.
He's coming on right now. Comments. He's coming on right now. I can tell you.
I don't have time for Tom.
He went from
not his schedule to be on here for an hour. With his ass coming on, I'm going to dig in his ass if he gets on this goddamn mic. Stay your ass Tom. Don't come on.
He went from saying that he don't want to talk about the Eagles that he just said like 30 things in the chat today.
I like messing with Tom, man, because I can push Tom's buttons real fast. It's just go. It's 0 to 100. It's 0 to 100.
He's all over the chat.
0 to 100, and I don't care. Right? We get on each other's fucking nerves. I'm not even gonna lie. We get on each other's nerves and we get perfect. I don't give a shit. So, but no. In all seriousness, I just we lost the game. We got out coached. There's a lot of things that Gannon could have did better, but it's hard. Like you tell me he could do better. But do you really want to blitz Mahomes?
I just want the ball back.
He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
I rather them give up the score and get the ball back with a minute or so.
Oh my God, Nate!
Don't let him on. God damn it! Don't let him on. No, go ahead. Let
I
him
have
on.
no power over this.
He might cancel you guys because of me.
If he comes on, he comes on.
He won't cancel you guys because of me. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking to Nate? I run this shit.
Nate's gonna get us canceled.
Again, but Nate, overall, I'm with you.
Let him on. You let him be in the choir for too long. You're gonna piss these
overall. I am with you.
You can't fire me. Don't fire your ass.
I ain't firing nobody. It's opinion. It's opinion. I'm not saying that you guys said he's elite. I'm not putting words in your mouth. So like, don't think that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's okay to say, hey, this guy's average. He's average, and that's fine. And this year, but he is. Nate, look at the numbers against good quarterbacks. That's average. That's actually below average. So what he did was he beat up on all the slop, and I'm not gonna take that away from you. I'll never. Derek Carr. Look at all the numbers on good quarterbacks that we face. It's alarming. It's alarming.
I mean, we had a nice schedule, Tom. I don't know how many good. Like, do you consider that good?
That carved their ass up.
He did. It was Lamb but Maddox was out. Now Maddox is in there. A little bit different. I don't know.
Yep.
You know how you do. I don't know.
I mean, listen. I just know that good quarterbacks seem to carve us up. Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from the numbers. I said this during the year. The numbers speak for themselves. I get it, but that doesn't mean you're elite, right? Because the elite coordinators in this league, not saying you guys are saying that, I'm saying the elite coordinators in this league are able to adjust on the fly. The good ones adjust when it's too late, right? And that's the difference, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm not trying to run the guy out of town. I actually was like, you know what? I really don't want to lose two coordinators. I sort of hope he comes back just because at least there's a chemistry there. This isn't about blitzing. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. I'm not trying to overtake your show. This isn't about blitzing, right? For the smart football fans, this is about adjustments, man. This is about we can sit on our couch and know you're running the same shit with our eyeballs. That's a problem. And do players play? Of course, Nate, because there's arguments for both sides of this, right? And our players haven't made plays, in the biggest game. We didn't make the play. We didn't get off the field, right? We didn't do those things.
That spot, Tom, than I do the coach, because I think it's a communication thing. That yo-yo motion comes back. They got to communicate who's got that guy. I think that's
Nate, that second touchdown, the Moore touchdown, I think that was mostly on Maddox. I think Maddox overcommitted, whereas I think on the first one, I think Slay honestly he took his eyes off what's his name, the one who scored a touchdown.
Kadarius
Tony. Yeah, he took his eyes off him because he was communicating. He was trying to switch with CJ. So if you see it on the replay, he's trying to switch with CJ, right? So he tried to switch with CJ.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to go back and kind of really study it. But I mean, from the ones that I remember, I know the one was in man and they got caught and it just didn't work. And I think the other one was in zone because the way they bounced it, that's what it looked like.
I think
not trying to get too dorky with it, but I guess not to cut you off, Chucks, but since we got Tom here, I wanna fuck with Tom a little bit. What would you call there?
Call
like,
where?
What would you
you think I'm stuck on those plays?
Well, yeah, we're smart football players. We're smart guys.
So you think I'm stuck on those plays? You think I'm stuck on a lack of communication play?
I don't know.
You think that's my problem?
Me and you haven't talked.
My problem is he's been doing the same stuff for 2 years. He got a roster loaded with talent this year. Loaded. All right. We all sat here before the year and we couldn't kumbaya enough about this defensive roster and what our aspirations and our expectations are. All right. If you're the number one pass defense in football and you're the number one defense in sacks in football and you can't get off the field at all in the second half, so you're just going to tell me that players forgot how to play? Or there's a couple things here that transpired, right? What transpired is you're going against a great, okay, that nobody wants to talk about. Also for 2 weeks, everybody poo-pooed Patrick Mahomes like he ain't special. All right, everybody poo-pooed Andy like he ain't special. And what happened on Sunday is you got out-coached, which happens, okay? And a great quarterback got them into the right plays from running the. He was unselfish, right, in the second half. Patrick Mahomes did enough to win a football game and exposed us in some problems we had all year. And that was our rush defense before Joseph and Sue came into town. We struggled there a little bit. We struggled Sunday with it. And guess what? We struggled with allowing a guy to get in a groove. Right. And I think that's the biggest problem I had with Jonathan Gannon over his tenure was he allows average quarterbacks to get in grooves. And at this level, you know, you can't allow. Is he the worst coordinator of all time? No. Now, what would I have called there? I don't know. I'm not caught up into those plays because they were just well ran, well designed, schemed up plays that just beat you. Right. I'm just talking about the fourth quarter. Right. We can sit here and say that, oh, they only gave up. They only gave up what, 10 points because the other touchdown was on the punt? Sure. They still gave up 10 points in the fourth quarter, right? They still gave up 17 essentially because they didn't score on the punt return. If you're a special defense and you got a great coach there, you maybe hold them to 3, right? And we didn't get any of those things.
Yep.
And that's what's concerning. Like as much as we crushed Jim Schwartz at times, we did make that big play. We did dial up a big play finally. Listen, I'm not going to talk too long. You guys, no, and that's against a great. Sometimes you just get. Sometimes greats will expose you. That's just the way it works.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, is it Gannon's fault that he faced a great, and not even a great tandem, like one of the greatest tandems we'll probably see? That's a tough.
Why can't he be in the? Hold on. Why can't he be in the handful of things that you blame Sunday on? That's my problem. He's not the main reason or the only reason. There's a handful of reasons. Jalen's a reason. Jalen's a reason. He gave him 7, right? There's reasons to go all around. So this isn't all on John. It's on Nick. It's on everybody, right? When you lose like that, when you blow a lead like that. So I don't want to make this like, oh, Jonathan Gannon, like the worst coordinator ever. And I'm like some freaking dry jock fan that doesn't know football. What I'm saying is he wore his wife's underwear to the presser in Arizona today, okay? And he don't carry his own ball back. So that's a problem to me. That's a problem to me. And you're going to blitz down there? That's when you're going to decide to blitz? That's when you want to go, man? You want to blitz in the red zone? You freaking moron? That's when we're blitzing? Mahomes? Come on. So if you want to ask me, I don't blitz there. I blitz when you don't think I'm blitzing. I blitz on situations where I want to take it to you, where I need to change something up, and I'm not a blitz 50% guy. Okay, I think it's time, and our players let us down too. I'll leave you with that. So this isn't Tom. Like the chat can obviously when you type something, it can get misconstrued, and I didn't want it to seem like I was putting words in your guys' mouths.
I just wanted to trigger you to bring your ass on. Because I
just got home and you guys are doing this, and I just wanted to listen and I just wanted to engage.
I wanted to suck you in. I sucked you in.
Well, Chuck triggers me too. Chuck's and Gannon trigger me. They triggered me for 2 years now, and he knows it, and I love it because this is fun. Like, what are we doing, guys? If we didn't have this outlet and we didn't have the opportunity to come on here and vent it out as a family, right? Then what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? This is what makes this.
My
fun.
hair would be gray.
Yeah, like
I just.
So did you run down the steps with the torn meniscus and everything? I would have paid to see that.
Yeah, how's your meniscus?
No, I just leave my clothes down here, so I didn't even get changed yet. I didn't shower yet. But
I just think that there's so much focus on Gannon, and I'm just like, man, I don't feel like Gannon. Like, there's so much more than just Gannon. You know what I mean? And then he goes out, he runs. You see the videos. He does his little presser. He says bird game and all this other shit. So, you know what I mean?
He's a cornball, dude. He's a corny dude.
I didn't feel any need for him to do a presser. Like everybody was like, why didn't he do a press conference after? I mean, did Steichen do a press conference? Did I miss?
I don't need a presser from those guys. I'm not the head coach, right?
Yeah, I don't. Like, exactly. It was just so much on Gannon. I'm just like, the dude just had a historic, and we're going to falter next year. I
disagree. But that's a conversation for the summertime,
later,
right?
Later.
Yeah. It's not like a couple things. I think Jordan Davis takes a monster leap. That's my big, and the Kobe does. So I think we're going to get younger and we're going to get quicker.
That's a hope.
I'm hoping, but also I'll tell you two things.
That's a great white hope. That's a great
Bradbury's
white hope.
okay.
Basketball. It's hope.
Bradbury's okay, and Slay's over. And Slay fell off the cliff.
Nah, Slave's all right. Slave's all right.
You would
No,
like.
no,
You would be Mr. Slave too.
I'm not Mr. Slave, but Slave's all right. He picks are
You
sexy.
can't lose both
Picks
of
are
them.
sexy, but he don't need. He don't need.
You can't lose both Slay and Bradbury. You have to have one of them on the
I
team.
can't.
I hope the Juju thing.
I'm keeping Slay over Bradbury.
I'm not keeping either.
I'm keeping
I don't
Slay for
even-
one
I have
reason.
to-
Oh, you
Not
crazy? You
because of him.
talking crazy, Tom?
Oh, you guys want to get physical? You guys want to be not just talkers but ballers? Because I'm keeping Gardner Johnson. He's 25 years old. How much you want? How much you want?
We agree.
No. I'm just going off my list. I'm trading the 31st. What do we got? 30 for 31, right?
30.
30. Good. Guess what? Guess who doesn't have a first? The Rams. They need one. Hey, here you go. Here's 30 for a guy named Jalen Ramsey, and I'm gonna take it to another level. It's time.
So you
because
want
Slay's,
Ramsey and Slay?
no. Slay's gonna take a walk. Slay's got to take a walk because I got to clear up money, right?
Ramsey over Slay
because he's 3 years younger. He's 3 years younger. Darius at the point of his career where it's tough. Just like Hargrave, they start to fall off a cliff a little bit. It's not a shot at Darius. He had a great career, but I can't expect him to be the same player next year at 32 that he is at 30. It's not fair.
Ramsey ain't what Ramsey was.
Well, I think a lot of that. I don't think Ramsey isn't what Ramsey was. I just think the Rams were a dumpster fire. So it makes it look like, oh, this guy can't play. He can play. He can play.
I mean, they ain't scared to throw out Ramsey no more. Before he used to put fear in them, but they go right at Ramsey.
Yeah, they throw out Ramsey.
I'm not telling you he's Ramsey Island or Deion Sanders.
Oh,
I'm just trying to bring in some. I'm trying to bring in some different blood to try to get us back. Right? You know where my head's at. Like,
yeah, you like aggressive. You're an aggressive guy.
I'm a talker, Nate.
I know you're a talker. You came in here. You didn't wash your ass. Or nothing. He came in here dirty. He came in here this bitch dirty, Tom. You know how you are.
Love you, Nate.
You couldn't.
He's got chalk line on the bottom of his pants, man.
He got the headphones on. Didn't even take off the hat. Hot as shit. Sweating. Talking shit. Came in this bitch hot. I'm gonna need you to calm your ass down when you come up on here.
I'm sorry. I should know my role here. I apologize.
No, you're good.
Always, man. You know I got
You're
you.
the Godfather. That's your
I'll put you in
role.
your place.
No, I just want to stop in and tell you one too. The last thing is I love you guys. It's been a great season. It didn't end the way we want to. I hate to say it, but I'll take that every freaking year. You know what I mean? I'll deal with the heartbreak for the next month, but I'll deal with it every year. You can send me to that dance every year, and one of the times I'm going to come out with it. So I think the presser was really good today.
We're 0 for 3. Fuck.
Yeah.
And the Sixers are up next.
Sixers is up next, man.
Well, yeah, it's an 0 for 4 second round exit.
We'll see. Second round, the Cowboys of the NBA.
It's like the Buffalo Bills. It's like the Buffalo. It's like we're the Buffalo Bills. We get there and we can't get over the hump, man. I mean, and all of them weren't expected. I don't know so much about the Union, but I mean, did we catch lightning in a bottle from Philly? You think, Tom? Was that lightning in a bottle?
I have no idea. If you played those games in my backyard, I wouldn't open the blinds. So I have no clue.
Yeah, so I like out there, but we got there, right? And we took us on a run, and then the Union came on a run. I'm sorry, you. I hate it, but hey, so what? I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And then
Phillies was fun, right, guys? I mean, Phillies was fun. So
the Stars
too.
Coming from me, who doesn't watch baseball in the regular season, that was a blast. That was an absolute.
It's crazy, right? When you talk about the Union,
I didn't talk shit. I mean, all I talk shit about the Union.
how many guys disagreed to the poll? Before I leave, I didn't hear it because I didn't get to listen. You agreed they're going back?
I agreed.
Yeah, I agree. Well, the question I posed to everybody is, and I'll do it to you too, Tom. Like, who's your best quarterback in the NFC? Like, I think it's Hurts. I mean, Rodgers is likely gone.
I don't think I know. Right? I got a really bold prediction, and I not only do I think he wins MVP next year, I somehow think he looks better.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
All there.
I hope so. And the one thing that we were talking about,
so hard to go back.
Don dumb as hell. He called you Hancock.
Oh my god, I cannot see it.
Will you ever see Will
Oh my
Smith
god, I
Hancock?
cannot see it.
Great movie.
The superhero movie when he has Scully on.
Snap stuff. Like, he still got room. He still got some room to breathe. So, I don't not discredit that him getting better next year. Offense is going to be put together, and we'll see what the defense looks like.
Senior year, right? If you look at Jalen, that's his senior year. Usually guys make their jump in their junior. He absolutely did, and now you're coming in your senior year. So you guys all agreed. Holy shit!
Yeah, I mean it's because like they said, like
who's the better?
What team is going to take the next jump, Tom?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not saying I disagree. I don't. I'm just like, oh wow, now you make me not want to do this. I don't want to be the jinx. I might have to be like, oh, I disagree. I got to disagree. I don't know. Well,
I flat out.
Where's Titan at when you need him?
I'm thinking more with my heart than I am with my head because I know how difficult it is to come back. But I'm done with doubting Hurts. I'm done with it. Like he's every single time someone doubts him, he proves them wrong. And so like he's entered the conversation of quarterbacks you just don't bet against. To me, he's in that conversation. He's earned it. So with him, like what you guys said, he's the best quarterback in the NFC, and that's clear. Like I
even with Rodgers there. If Rodgers comes back to Green Bay, I still say Hurts is better. I'll take Hurts over Rodgers
for sure.
Point.
Right now, absolutely.
And even Joseph just said, even if Derek Carr goes to the Niners, still taking Hurts.
I'm taking Hurts. Yeah,
like,
Hurts
I mean,
absolutely.
He's 1A or 1B, whoever you're talking to.
Yeah,
I can't think of a quarterback in the NFC.
I can't give him 2. He's 1A or 1B. He's not 2. He's 1A or 1B.
All right, I'll say this before I leave this time. And Pete, well, 2 things. Pete, I heard you before I came on. The only thing I didn't hear the jab. You say he hears what he wants to hear. I heard you loud and clear.
Reading between the lines of the line.
I didn't hear that shit. I was too busy talking.
I knew you.
You know me. I just talk a lot of shit.
You pour yourself a go one, and you know what I mean. You get after it.
Yeah, come on,
I'll say this: if a guy like Vance Joseph or a guy gets hired here, like whoever, just with like experience before, that's been a defensive coordinator. It doesn't have to be a certain style for me. Makes sense. It's just like something different. A guy who's Vance Joseph defense stunk this year, but so did the whole team. So it's hard to judge that. He's been a head coach. He knows that kind of role. I usually think when guys go back to being D coordinators after that, sometimes they become better, right? I just don't think he had the personnel. But that's a good name. I think any of those types of names, like I know there's not a ton out there, but like as long as it's not like I don't want to bring in house, not because I don't trust the next guy up. It's more like then that guy, then we lose another position coach, right? So it's just like it just trickles down too many moving parts. And I think when you guy like Vance Joseph, obviously you get some like head coaching leadership from a guy like that. I don't know if Gus Bradley's available, but that's a great name. But anybody different, I would then say to you guys, as long as it's not in house, I'll say I'll agree. We'll go back. But I'm gonna stay on the side of just in the middle so I don't jinx this shit. But,
fair enough.
All right, boys. I went from not talking Eagles to talking Eagles.
Yeah, man.
I know.
Talk this
It's
shit,
too easy. It's too
thanks
easy.
for jumping on. Go wash your ass.
And thanks for having me. See you, boys.
Anytime.
Later.
See you later.
So to answer Ryan Swope's question with Gus Bradley, ironically, he's in Indianapolis.
Bradley said he was coming back.
Not for now. He hasn't confirmed. Steichen hasn't confirmed whether or not he's keeping them or not.
Right.
Oh, okay. Right. New head coach, right?
Okay.
That'd be interesting.
All right.
I think that'd be foolish.
Hold on. You said Steichen hasn't. Where is Gus Bradley?
Indianapolis.
He's in Indy right now. Yeah.
Is he? Was he? Gus Bradley was in the Colts? You sure?
Yeah, he was there. He was their DC.
I'm looking right at Wikipedia right now.
Oh, wow.
2012 or 2022 to present.
Wow.
Yep.
See, that would be interesting because remember he was going to be our head coach in 2013 until Chip showed up.
He was with the Raiders the year before. Maybe that's what you're thinking, Nate.
Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking that. Yeah.
So I want to give y'all a real quick sidebar, right? The Union, the Phillies, and the Eagles all played for their respective titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they all had a lead at some point.
Yeah.
You're also forgetting the Stars.
Astra, the USFL. Yep.
Shut up.
All right.
Anyway, Jake,
Sorry.
there you go.
So-
Let's run through this.
Turn the temperature all the way down.
Real simple, stay or go. I'll say a name. You guys say whether they stay or go. 20 Eagles free agents. Start with the first one on the list, Fletcher Cox.
Go.
Gone, in my opinion.
Ace.
Yeah, he's a go
Okay.
for me. thought he was
Robert
last
Quinn.
year's-
He's gone.
Go.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's definitely go. That was a miss on that trade.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
huge
That's what it is.
Brandon Graham, I think he stays. I think Brandon Graham stays.
Ace.
So are you asking what we think or what we would do?
What you think?
Stays.
I mean, if you want to go more in depth, by all means.
So both. So give both if you want.
I want to
Yeah.
say I think Graham stays. I think I didn't see it or read it, but there was a rumor that he said he wouldn't play anywhere else but here, right?
Yeah, I believe that.
I
I
believe
think
that.
I
Just chain himself to the wall.
quote.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense at his age to go somewhere else either, unless he wants to go home to Detroit, which would make sense. But
No, I think he stays. I mean, he's the longer tenure Philadelphia athlete, the longest tenure athlete. So I think
Yeah.
I think if anything, they stay. Doesn't he have another year or no?
Yeah, it's free agent.
no, he's a free agent.
Okay. Yeah, he stays.
Next one, Javon Hargrave. I think he's gone.
Gone.
Go.
Overpriced, yeah.
All right. Jason Kelsey. Oddly enough, I think he comes back for one more year.
Yeah, I'm with Jake. I think he
You
stays.
I think this is so primal. Do you really think he's going to let his younger brother be the reason why he retires? You think he's
Exactly.
gonna-
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
that's why
saying,
it's all ego,
Nah.
man.
Well, no,
Yeah,
you know what it is?
I
It's-
think
it's-
so.
it's just
I
a
think he
bad
will,
way they
but-
lost, bro. It really is.
As someone
They lost.
with a younger brother, under no way, shape, or form would I ever let his pretentious ass retire me.
Yeah, sorry, Chuck. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna go against the grain. I would say that I think he wouldn't mind. I don't think that is a deciding factor in his decision. I don't think like if there was any team that was going to beat him in the Super Bowl, I think he'd be glad it's his brother on the team. So I don't think that that's going to be a factor. I think if he returns, it's going to be because he wants to still just flat out play. So I disagree with that, but I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
I'm not an older brother, so I don't know.
Aha.
I don't.
Yeah,
I admit, no, I'm an older brother to a younger sister. I'm not an older brother to a younger brother.
Okay.
What's that noise?
That's me.
I feel like I'm
Oh,
I
okay.
feel like I'm in a candy wrapper right now.
It's a candy
Um,
wrapper.
Nice.
Yeah,
James
Valentine's Day.
Bradbury.
James
I think
Bradbury
he goes.
goes.
Yeah, he's gone.
Don't heart Jonathan Gannon.
I'm gonna say stay.
Really?
I'm gonna say stay, and the only reason why I'm gonna say stay is because of what the whole Juju thing. I think he comes back.
Okay.
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 Isaac Sayamalu. I think he's
Go.
Go.
Goes.
Gone.
He's gone.
gone. Andre Dillard.
Peace.
Andre Dillard's a free agent.
Yes.
Goes.
Hey,
That's the one where I'm like, when we talked about the hits that they've had on the offensive line, that was a big ass swing and miss.
Yep.
Big swing and miss. And you traded up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kaiser White.
The question though, like it's a big swing and a miss in the fact that he didn't end up being a starter. But
Right.
if he goes elsewhere and becomes a good player, like a good left tackle, would
Mhm.
your opinion on him, just on him, change? Because I think you get what I'm saying. Like I agree with you that like with us pertaining to us specifically,
Okay.
miss. You know,
I mean, like if he has a decent career outside of what he did
If
here.
there wasn't a Jordan Mailata,
would he like?
Is he not starting?
You know what I mean? Like it's a miss in the
Mhm.
fact that he's not starting for us. But I think the jury is still out if you're talking about if it's a hit or a miss on him specifically. Am I explaining that right? Like, am I asking that right?
Yeah, and I kind of would lean towards it's still a miss because he was given, like, it wasn't like he got hurt. Like, he literally got beat out. When's the last time a first round talent for the Eagles got beat out?
Well, it's also a bad look too, right? Because if you put context into it, you lost your job to a guy that never played football before.
That's true.
Never
That
played
is true,
football.
yeah.
And that's no disrespect to Jordan Mailata. He's a monster. But the fact that you lost your job to a guy that never played the game before and you got beat out by just a game that you played since you were little. Like outside, if he has a good career, good for him. But as far as us is concerned, it's a miss for me, regardless.
Gotcha.
All right. Kaiser White, gone.
Gone.
Yeah, gone.
TJ Edwards, I say
Stay.
gone. Okay.
I say stay.
You say gone.
Yeah, I'm leaning stay on that one.
Okay. I'll just put this pair together. Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph.
Gone.
I think Sue
Gone.
stays.
Okay.
I think Joseph's gone. I think Sue stays.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
one
wow,
of
you
them
guys think
stays.
so?
I'm just not sure who. I think one of them stays.
Okay. I think they're both gone. But
Okay. Zach Pascal.
Stay.
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 Rick Lovato.
Gone.
Long snapper. Gone.
I don't know.
I think
Sure,
it's the long snapper. I don't expect him to give a shit.
We haven't heard his name. We haven't heard his name all season, so that's a
Right.
good thing. So he's
Yeah.
staying. Like, yeah.
Tyree Jackson.
The tight end?
Yeah, yep.
Wait. Didn't they just sign him to a futures deal or something?
Yeah, I think they signed him.
I'm about to say, I thought he was already signed to a future deal.
Okay. Yeah, I guess
I
this
don't
wasn't
know.
updated. But anyway, I digress. Gardner Minshew, gone.
Gone.
Okay. Marcus Epps.
Fuck.
Stay.
I didn't know he was a free agent.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, all of our free agents are on defense. Majority of them, anyway.
I think he stays, but I think his job is in jeopardy.
Okay. I mean, as a depth piece, I don't hate it.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, like as
I
a
think they
as a
need him
depth.
as a death piece. So like, I think he stays.
Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Boston Scott. I say he stays.
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 Hey,
I mean, he's going to be cheap, so I don't expect them.
I
to
think he's
break
gonna
the
be
bank
cheap.
for him. Yeah, I would think, but
He's gonna be cheap.
I could also see the Giants picking him up too, just so they don't have to deal with that anymore. But
That'd be so funny.
the
I'm
Giants
just saying,
The
it
fans
would
would
shock
want
me.
that. The fans absolutely want that to happen. I don't know. I don't know if
The
management.
Giants can't do it. You should see Giants Twitter. Like, we have to sign Boston Scott.
Yeah.
I can't.
Every year, I wanted the Sixers to sign Luis Scola just because he would carve us up for like 35 every time we play him.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's like when we signed what's his name from the Celtics, just so he couldn't guard Embiid anymore.
Horford.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Horford.
Yeah, Al Horford. Yep. That's the whole reason we signed Al Horford. That didn't work out. But anyway, last but not least, CJGJ, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Of course.
If
course.
if you don't re-sign him, I swear to God.
Did you say Miles Sanders?
He's priority number one.
Well, Miles Sanders is like that. I
Gone.
think that's consensus that he's gone.
Yeah, he's out. It's Trey Sermon season.
Trey.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's Kenny Gainwell season. Kenny
Trey
G.
and
Playoff Kenny.
It's Trey and Kenny, both of them, baby.
Trey and Kenny.
No, I think it's if they don't re-sign Chauncey, that's going to be like
That's a
I'll
huge
be-
problem.
I'll be on suicide watch.
huge problem.
Well, then
Huge
Epps comes
problem.
back if they don't sign him.
Oh, that's
Either that,
bad.
or they go get Jesse Bates. It's one of those three.
That's another one. Yeah. That's another one.
Imagine if you restock your secondary and it's Gardner Johnson and Jesse Bates.
You that won't happen because you just can't pay. You can't have studs at every position. It's a pipe dream.
Yeah.
I like to live in Wonderland.
Unless you draft just studs, but that's Few and far
Yeah,
between.
Tom says who's the
You
main
were
guy
just
want back?
here, sir. Did you take a shower?
Come home.
Who's the main guy you want back? I think we all in consensus agree
Yeah,
that it's Chauncey.
Chauncey. It's not. Yeah, it's
Obviously,
not even
Robert
a question.
Quinn.
Yeah, it's not
I've
even-
been,
Yeah,
I've,
you
I've
need
been saying Chauncey since we traded
back.
for him.
Yeah, he's a
not even.
he's a dog back there. You gotta go.
Yep.
He is. Did you see he got fined for that hit? By the way.
That was bullshit.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's so stupid. That's so stupid. All right, the last question I want to put out before we go to no huddle and then end the show. I mean, PY has answered it pretty much. His gave his answer. But I want to ask the rest of you. Where would you rank Jalen Hurts right now amongst quarterbacks in the NFL? This is very early, and we're gonna have this episode again in this summer when we do our positional rankings, like we do every year. But right now, where would you rank him?
He's 4 or 5. If he's anything lower than 5, there's a problem.
Mahomes is 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Mahomes by himself, or is there somebody sitting with Mahomes?
No. What do you?
We're not doing
Mahomes-
tiers.
Mahomes
It's
is
like
a
1, 2,
unicorn.
3, 4, 5.
I'm just
Mahomes is
asking
a
because
unicorn.
people love Pat. I mean, not Pat. Yeah, people love Joe Burrow. So I'm not.
Yeah.
People put him in
Mahomes
that.
by himself.
Okay, so Mahomes is by himself. Next tier, Burrow. Are we putting Allen in that tier too?
I am.
Burrow,
Yeah.
Allen,
Yeah, I would. Yep.
and Hurts.
Burrow, Allen.
That's my second tier for me personally.
That's your
I
second
have
tier.
Allen in tier 3, but that's just me.
No, I'm trying to think. Who else is out there that would sit? No Herbert. You guys not Herbert fans?
He's
He's
5.
tier 3. He's tier 3.
He's tier 3. Okay, so consensus tier 3. So you have Herbert. Who else is in that? Jackson.
Lamar.
Lawrence.
Yeah, Lamar.
Lamar's in that third tier too.
Mhm.
Yep. And then it's your Dax and your Derek Carrs and your
So is
Kirk
No,
Cousins.
below.
Hurt-
That's
that's
four.
first in that third tier with Lamar and Lawrence.
He's above that.
No, he's in tier 2.
So he's with
I
Burrow.
have Hurts.
For
Yeah.
me, Nate, for me, I have him in tier 3 because I need to to be consistent and to be
You need
consistent with
another
everything.
year.
He needs another year of doing it, and it's the same thing with Lawrence. If I'm just going off of talent and not being able to show it more than 1 year, Hurts and Lawrence to me are tier 2, but because they haven't done it for more than a year, they're in tier 3 only for that reason. Where Burrow and Josh Allen have shown to play at a high level for more than a year, so that's my reason.
Right. The only caveat I would say to that is while I have my top 3 is Mahomes, Burrow, and then Hurts, is because all 3 of them bitches played in the Super Bowl. Everybody else has it. And not just played in the Super Bowl, played and showed out.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's,
In the
that's
Super Bowl.
a good
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that means you have Hurts over Allen then too, right?
Yeah.
Josh Allen is the 76ers of the NFL. Close
I
but
think
no
that's, I
cigars.
think, I
I'm
think
not
that's
going to go that far. I'm not going to go.
It's okay, I will.
Can you stop?
No, I'm okay with it. I'll stand
It's
by
bound
my
to
guy.
happen. It was bound to happen.
I'm there. I don't care. It's like
No, the Bills need to get
the
a
overhyped
better
man.
number 2. They need to get a better number 2.
He's a great white hype. He is.
I don't have
Great white hype man.
Are we still
Yeah.
Besides the DJ echo.
We're all okay.
I don't
Nate,
know.
we are echoing voices.
No.
How's Nate?
Nate is the professional out of all of them. I don't know what setup he has.
I
Said
don't
it
know.
was fucking clean. But no. When you guys keep saying you're echoing, I'm like, I don't hear no shit. I don't see no on my little thing that on my scale on my signal. I don't see no reverb. I don't see no feedback. My shit is good. My shit is good. When you say echoing, I'm like, That's why I asked. I'm like, am I echoing? Because I don't hear it. I'm good. So
Yeah, you're
Why the trendsetter?
yeah, you know what? It's hard for me. I personally would put Allen and Hurts in the same tier for me.
Okay.
But I'm not mad that you put him over because he's played in the Super Bowl, and which means he would be in the Burrow tier.
Right.
So I'm not mad if you put him that high. I'm really not mad, and he should be if you think about it, because we just talked about it. I mean, there's nobody better that you can really argue who's better than him in the NFC. He's the number one quarterback in the NFC.
Yeah.
So why would he be right under where, the current MVP, Super Bowl MVP is? So I'm okay with him being 2A and 2B to Burrow. If you want to look at it like that, I'm okay.
You know what? Because because you guys convinced me. I'll put Hurts with Burrow and Allen. The reason why I would drop Allen to tier 3 is because I think he is an overtime rule from being in the Super Bowl. If it wasn't for that overtime rule the year before, I think he makes it past the Bengals and goes to the Super Bowl that year.
If wishes were fishes.
Yeah, I'm an Allen fan. I really am. And I think I think Hurts has had an Allen-esque rise.
Lori was right.
So, but like you said, Hurts got over the hump, but Allen hasn't. And there's a reason for that. Whatever it is, Hurts has. And so far, Allen has not found what that it is. So if you argue that Hurts is better, or it could be the Michael Jordan effect, not calling Mahomes Michael Jordan. You were just born in the wrong era, right? You're just playing in the wrong time. And you're
Peyton to his Brady.
Yeah, and you gotta go through Mahomes every single year. And it's just that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, it is. Oh God! Someone else. No, hold on, because I'm echoing.
I think it's all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nate, you go.
Yeah,
Nate, you want to close out? You want to close out the show then? If you're the only one not echoing.
So what do you need me to do?
Just close out the show.
Send us home, baby.
Just close it out. Oh, we're good. Oh, okay. So yeah, we talked about so much today, and I think that the chapter can finally be closed on like when we talk about the Super Bowl, and all we can do is look forward. And we're late too, right? This is Thursday, right? This is true, like second tier therapy session. Go back to the therapist because the first session didn't go right, so you need to go back and make sure. So we lost. It is what it is. It's time to really kind of move on and look at the next thing. And the cool thing about the next thing about being in the Super Bowl is that it's not far away, right? We have free agency, a month, if I'm not mistaken. Then we have the draft. I know Chucks can't wait to get his hands and, really start breaking those things down from a draft perspective. You'll see the mocks. I think the mocks already dropped already. And for me, from a betting perspective, you already see the next year's MVP, next year's, Super Bowl champion futures are already out. So, and not even that too, I don't know how many people watch FXL, UFSL, but a lot of that stuff is coming, right? Football almost all year round. I think they said, if you think about it, it's going to be football on for 49 out of the 52 weeks of the year. Like, it's insane. Yep. So football is not going away. So we can stay with the football talk as we will, kind of fix in some other football just to give it a little bit more, fluff and content. But you know how birds of a feather do. We fly anywhere, right? Right, P? Mm-hmm. We fly everywhere and anywhere. So for Chuck, PY down there, for Jake, OG, P, and your homie, Moss Money, we are out.